Here's Paul Taylor for United States Senate.
It's my great pleasure to be here. This is my first time. And I guess stepping up and saying I'm going to run against Dianne Feinstein is a huge thing to say. But David stood up in front of Goliath and took him down, right?
That's right.
And before I say anything about myself, I want to say one thing that I enjoy about this congregation here, if you want to call that, this assembly, is that the first thing you do is you pray, and then you salute the flag, and you say the Pledge of Allegiance, and you demonstrate our First Amendment right for me to be able to get up here and others to say what's on our mind without boos and hisses and throwing stuff at us, and I appreciate that because that's America. That's America. I'm a very fortunate man. As I look back on my life, I think about all the blessings I've had as an adopted kid, so consequently I'm definitely pro-life. I hit the Big Door Prize when I was adopted. I was adopted from a gal who was single and decided that in 1951 that she didn't want to abort me. Instead, she saw an ad in a newspaper that my adoptive parents put in the Seattle Times, and she came down and she applied to adopt me to a couple that had lost 6 babies. And they adopted me. And so in my growing up, I realized, especially when I met them, when I was 37 years old, I found my family. And they actually live out here in Anaheim, believe it or not. I have 2 full brothers, 2 full sisters that live down here. They didn't know I existed until I was 37 years old. I met them, and I realized what I had been gifted with. My biological parents is what gave me my IQ. My adopted parents gave me my EQ, my emotional intelligence. That gave me my ability to take my experience and my knowledge to be able to do something, to be able to get out and do something with that and not sit in a cubicle like a lot of the PhDs, which you need them. They're great people. But to be able to take my ingenuity, my ability, and my understanding about fixing things and problem solving. And that's what I did. I went to college. Pre-med, worked full-time on the assembly line at International Harvester, 50 hours a week in my late teens, early 20s. I put myself and my wife through college. She became an educator. I studied pre-med. And then later I went into manufacturing because I realized as a kid that I could fix things. And through fixing things, it took problem solving. I figured out how to fix things by figuring out how they work and what it takes to fix them. And innovating. And then I realized in industry and manufacturing there were areas in our business world that I could jump into as a novice, never having experience in those areas, and get up and do something in a business that actually flourished by problem solving, being an innovator, coming up with new products, creating thousands of jobs in California and across the United States. There's about 1,000 small companies across the United States because of the innovation I did in Northern California. I was so pleased to do that. I actually retired 10 years ago and looking for something that I figured that when I was 8 years old that the Lord had called me to, and that was a political position. I didn't know what it was. And then 5 years ago I was found with half my stomach covered with cancer. And I thought that I was going to be dead in about 60 days at the level it was. It was really bad. And so I got on my knees and I prayed. And I said, Lord, you promised to finish the work you started in me, and you haven't done it because you told me I was going to be in a political office someday. Please heal me. 60 days later, the doctor calls up and says, Paul, we can't find any more cancer in your body. Your hep C that you got from paint remover when you're doing antique restoration is gone. No medical intervention. God is in good charge. He's in charge. The question is, does paint remover cause cancer? It does in your liver. It's the was benzene that was in there. And in case you don't know, hep C is a toxin stuck in your liver that makes your pancreas create enzymes at a level higher than normal, and it doesn't go away. One big contributor to that is preservatives in food. That's why they took out the preservatives in children's cereal and put it in the wrapper instead, so they could say it didn't have preservatives in it. So, but preservatives get into your liver, and then you can get hepatitis from that. That's why it has not communicable disease necessarily. So at any rate, the reason why I'm running for Senate is because I realize now, I'm 65 years old, that I've got a great deal of experience, but I realize something that I can do with my ability to problem solve and innovate, because this state is broken. It needs to be fixed. And how's it going to be fixed? The first thing that I do when I get into the Senate is this. I'm going to fix the broken line of communication that doesn't exist. It hasn't existed here for 25 years. And that is the communication between Washington, D.C. and California, with California Republican leaders in the governor and the lieutenant governor and the Secretary of State and the Attorney General and the insurance commissioner. Every one of those guys, when they get in office, they have to solve problems too. They can't innovate yet. They have to go back and fix the broken stuff. Each one has their particular problems. Insurance commissioner, what's he going to be fighting? Single-payer insurance. We don't want that, do we, folks? Single-payer insurance? No. With the governor, the water problems in the state needs innovation for that, not to put a tunnel. There's a lot of things that he needs to do that. With the release of prisoners, the Attorney General needs to have new conservative judges in the Ninth Circuit Court here in San Francisco, don't they? And that's something that the Senator does, is that we review upcoming and appoint judges. Also, Israel's a big thing. And we're part of that thing, too, because we talk about treaties. We're involved in international affairs. And with the changing of our embassy to Jerusalem, Donald Trump needs senators standing beside him. In every area of his agenda, he needs someone that's going to be there, that's going to help him make changes and stick with him instead of the rhinos in there. Yeah. I want to go hunt for rhinos. I'm an environmentalist. I want to drain the swamp, expose the rhinos, but save the fish, okay? I like the fish. So really, I'm excited. I can use my innovative capabilities. I feel like I'm 30 years old. I'm ready to go there and charge and work hard. I covet your prayers. I would enjoy your endorsements, and I appreciate the time to speak. Thank you so much.